Hey, man, the fuck you mean you ain't heard no fucking...
Does the beat go off?
How come all this conversation, me? How come all your ladies, they want me?
Jeff Davis, Alex Jones, and Mike Hansen were working hard on The Jeff Davis Show. Some more than others, though. Every Tuesday, they would air an episode. For Alex and Jeff, this was coming on every show to give his takes on the situation. For Mike, it was everything else. And this disparity brought tension. Mike Hansen would grow mad at Jeff, as he believed he did all the work, and Jeff Davis was paid more. Alex Jones and Jeff Davis would host the Jeff Davis Show one Tuesday. This episode would be that one that turned Mike Hansen from tolerance to rebellion.
Hello, Austin, Texas, and we are back. Now, this is the Jeff Davis Real News Hour. This is our 4th edition down here. Got Alex Jones with us. We're going to be talking about the illusion of freedom. Now, let me just say a couple of things about this. We've been doing some studying and some reading as far as just exactly. Let me just read this first. This was mentioned that we would read this, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's called I Didn't Speak Up. In Germany, Nazis first came for the communists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholics, and I didn't speak up because I am a Protestant. Then they came for me, and by the time there was no one left, they came for me, and by that time there was no one left to speak for me. So I think this is, when we start talking about why all of our rights need to be kept here, and all of our ideas and liberties, that's a perfect example. Now, the focus of today's show is going to be the illusion of freedom. Now, we've got a little book here, if we could get a close-up of this to get this going here. It's called The Illusion of Freedom, folks. And I think you'll find it quite interesting that when we focus in here and get where you can see it, as far as just exactly what we're talking about here. Because the fact is, you will see that much of what we're being told about is being free. This has already been practiced, folks, in other governments gone past. And it's called the illusion of freedom. This is going to be the thrust of this news hour. Basically, the first picture shows in Nazi Germany, they requested to have your papers in order. And then in the communist Soviet Union, they did the same thing. Now here in America, they also, they say when you get pulled over, you'll be free to go as soon as we see your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance, etc. Same thing, and then these other tyrannical regimes.
The police aren't supposed to come for you until after you have committed a crime, not all these spot checks and things. And that's where we've gotten confused in this country. We're all being treated like criminals rather than punishing people after they commit criminal acts.
Right. Now this is going to lead into the focus of what we're going to talk about here tonight. Now we're going to be using several examples, and I think we're going to be using our own ideas too. But in this book here, it's called The Right to Travel, and we won't get a close-up of it, but it's called The Right to Travel, Liberty, or License.
It's got it up on screen.
Well, I want to first have you comment on this.
Well, you notice she wasn't getting a $2,000 a day fine.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
But Mr. Roland Ellingson was. And then we'll show you her other home right across the street. There's the tarp with mosquitoes swarming. We'll try to show you that. Literally the most Now, that isn't really bad. That's just the tarp and some. Actually, I like the way that house looks, except for the tarp. I like overgrown houses. There's Miss Goodman's other home, and we'll show you a derelict vehicle parked. Now that's what most of the houses look like in the neighborhood. But then right next door, you've got Jackie Goodman's home. That's where she actually lives, and take a look at that. Now that is absolute hypocrisy. And we didn't do this at first until we'd show the health department totally being in hypocrisy. Then the statesman countered, saying that it was extreme and that it was, and the $2,000 a day fines were loving and needed for the children. Literally said for the kids in East Austin, which Ellingson doesn't live in East Austin, lives in Central Austin, and did all of this, and later we'll show you the health department if we can do that. It's and then Roland Ellingston's home. It's hypocrisy. But
Well, what the key to understanding is this, folks, is you can't allow an entity. Keep in mind, we are the government. We're supposed to be the government. That's what it was founded as. And now we have allowing these people, somebody else, to decide what's best for us. And this is now.
well, these guys are vultures.
Well,
Jeff.
let me just answer.
These
now,
guys are vultures.
But keep in mind, a lot of the people within their mechanism are vulnerable to what the whole house of cards. Now, I want you to answer, Alex, in your term. What basically what is real liberty?
Now, there's Roland Ellingston's home. Oh,
What
isn't it
is
horrible?
real liberty, and what is instead of all this regulation
The guy that was getting the $2,000
that we're being told on, that we're being exposed to? What is your what? How do you feel that the natural order of things should be for
well,
real
first,
liberty? I mean,
for real liberty, I think I agree with the city. Mr. Roland Ellingston's home that we just saw, we might rewind that. He needs $2,000 a day fines. I'm concerned with his home having 3-inch grass, even though there's no homeowners deal in that neighborhood.
well, that's just a hypocrisy.
No, I think they should take his home.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about the throat slitters and the rapists and the white-collar criminals and the federal government and the Chinese buying off our president. I'm not concerned. I'm concerned with that guy's home, and he's hurting the children.
Through 4 political dominances through 4. It's actually been longer than that, but this is the 4 administrations they choose. You will see here, folks, that this is the. And maybe we can't get a very good close-up of this, but this is the latest, one of the latest letters
Mechanisms
from the
of control.
Fund to Restore an Educated Electorate. And basically, we need to get the top of it so we can show the. Well, okay. Basically, this is the CFR Trilateral Commission. Now, Alex, if you will, while I'm showing this, bring the camera up a little bit. I've got it down as far as I can here. Well, anyway, this is the latest. This is one of the latest charts here. There's the tricycle, which is a symbol for the Trilateral Commission. Tell us a little bit about these groups here, Alex.
Don't take it down.
Tell
Hold on, Mike, you're getting louder and louder in here.
Nah,
Mike needs
go,
a hold. Come on
Go
out
ahead.
Well, this ain't Dan Rather. Tune over to Dan Rather.
That's right. Dan Rather will give you plenty of teleprompter with CFR messages for you.
Tell us about them groups.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, you really want me to, though?
Yeah, go ahead and tell
Okay.
us about that.
All right, well, the Council on Foreign Relations, I believe, was started in the 20s?
1919.
Yeah. And really got well ordered. The Council on Foreign Relations, Sandy Berger gets up there on TV, our national security advisor, runs a national security agency, and it tells us about the global regime of power. I mean, they're pretty much, because of shows like this and others across the country, they're coming right out and telling you what's happening, where they're going, how they're dismantling the country, and how it's going to help the kids. And, because international control, not you have any control. But remember, you're asking for it, they say. And basically that was started. And then in 1973, Brzezinski.
Brzezinski.
Yes, and his daughter's on, is it NBC or?
CBS up to the minute.
CBS up to the minute. Well, he and David Rockefeller, and then later they brought Jimmy Carter, and that loving nuclear physicist.
Okay. Let him go ahead and explain
Let's
these
go ahead.
groups.
Tell the story how they don't give the fines to me that.
I did already. Okay.
But
But,
I'll explain whenever you're ready. I will.
but basically, they're just elitist front groups.
Well, yes, the
To sum it
Trilateral
up real
Commission is an absolute elitist front group.
After this episode, Mike Hansen would get into a huge fight with Jeff Davis, which resulted in him leaving the Jeff Davis Show. Alex Jones and Jeff Davis the following Tuesday would give their airtime to friend Terry Liberty Parker, and they would attend his show.
I love Mike Hansen Archives.
You know, it used to be anti-government extremist, right-wing. There's actually, Alex, settle down. There's actually a new term in town.
The anti-government thing didn't go over too well because the way the government's been behaving, anti-government describes the way most people feel.
Right, but now there's a new term in town. It's called domestic terrorism. Now, when we get to these news clips, you'll see it. I'm just wondering where they're going to go from here. Is it going to be
Devil dogs?
Yeah, the hell children. Hell children, devil dogs.
Jeff, before we forget to do this, and I know we'll do it later in the program, it's something we've been meaning to do for weeks.
First off, Terry, I appreciate you. I appreciate you having us on the program.
You bet, you
I
bet.
think these news clips will tell it all what we're talking about here.
But most people, when you see a black helicopter fly by in the news, I mean, that's...
We're getting...
We used to shoot bottle rockets up at them, but never mind. But the thing that we have to understand now, we have to be serious now.
right.
Here's the thing: domestic terrorism, folks. This is the new term in town. Now, I submit to you that yes, there are domestic terrorists in this country. If it's not Jeff Davis, it's not Alex Jones.
Well, wait, before you identify
not Terry Liberty Park.
Don't identify him yet. We're going to have a little dramatic buildup for that, because this term domestic terrorism is being used to justify building the police state.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the news clip you're going to show was Channel 24 reporting on how the police apparatus at the state, federal, and local level is learning how to communicate and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And no, that's all right. No, just leave it this way. It'll actually work. The reason that they're having to do all this coordination is to catch domestic terrorists.
Like Jeff Davis.
Yeah. Well, that's. Let's take. I don't know. Do you want to introduce?
Let's just go ahead and take a look at there's actually a news clip, and then
And again, it's 472 call. Call in, and we'll take your calls here pretty soon.
You're now in an atmosphere where they're not worried about 120 nuclear weapons missing from Russia. They're not worried about Chinese spies under the behest of the president being let into our national security computers. They're not concerned with the IRS violating people. They're concerned with Jeff Davis and others, and me, having access TV shows, having FM radio shows. That's who they're worried about. You know, Jeff doesn't even own a firearm. He has 2 chihuahuas, a lovely wife, and 2 children. And I heard you may have a butter knife or 2, and you may even have a carving knife for turkey.
for cutting meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, subverted and controlled.
I think this domestic terrorism term is
It's a label.
probably the most blatant they've.
Next, it'll be blood-drinking Satan worshiper.
472 call. All right, we're going to try to roll through these tests, and we'll try to be quick on our responses here. Yes, caller.
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Yes, I don't know what it is, but I really seem to enjoy masturbating to your show.
Again,
Hey,
that's
you're
what,
going to do well in the police state. All right, now.
that's what the public
Wim, are you
school
still
has
there?
done. Public schools have done that. He's gone.
No kidding. Saturday night, and the guy is masturbating to our show. Now, I had to stop you guys from going out to bars and stuff to be here. All right, okay. All right, yes, caller.
You disconnected me. Okay, I'm glad.
I didn't do it.
All right,
Go ahead.
I saw you. Hey, I got television.
No, you
yeah,
saw
I
my
just
hand
want- I
over
had a
here. I didn't do it.
We're bad.
Yeah, I just want to know the difference between the Civil War days when it was your choice to own a human being, and
The difference between that and what we're talking about? Sure.
The
You
choice
got it.
people today.
Did you hear the premise that I talked about at the beginning of the show here?
No, I didn't.
All right, let me put it out there again. You're free to do anything you want so long as you don't initiate or do a credible threat to initiate physical force against the person or justly acquired possessions of another. That's it. You're free to do anything you want other than that.
Terry, let me say one thing real fast. We have these open to the public free seminars the last Sunday of every month at the Cherry Inn. You speak there, and you have a very good audience there to see you. What we talk about is freedom. Freedom to do what you wish to do as long as it doesn't violate somebody else. Just like Terry just said, there are African Americans, there are Hispanics, there are Asians, there are whites, there are old people, young people, there are short-haired crew-cut military people, there are people with nose rings, there are topless dancers there. They're not topless when they're there, unfortunately, but everybody's there. Everybody. This is the most diverse crowd you could create. Domestic terrorists. I mean, these are very evil people. And they're there talking about government systems being involved, not being apathetic. Very dangerous.
Your body. It doesn't belong to the government.
They also have no business
shipping it in.
bringing it all in here.
I am for decriminalization, not absolute legalization. And it's a fact that the CIA and the FBI and the BATF
Before they
and the Drug Enforcement Agency, they are all involved in bringing these drugs in. Police officers, CIA agents have all told me this. It's out of control, guys. Look what Prohibition created in the 20s. It created giant
alcohol prohibition.
Gangs fighting each other on the streets.
The bottom line is, before they tell us what we can put in our bodies, they need to get out of the business of bringing it in here.
That's right. They want to jack the price up, though. That's what it's about.
A few weeks later, Alex Jones would be approached by Mike Hansen. Mike Hansen would like to create the Alex Jones Show. All he needs is Alex Jones. Alex Jones, after some contemplation, accepted Mike Hansen's offer abandoning Jeff Davis, Mike Hansen, and Alex Jones would create an epic public access television series. Alex Jones had a better idea, though. He suggested to Mike Hansen that they switch to radio. He quickly accepted, as TV broadcasting had a lot of troubles and regulations that went with it. But the problem was, they didn't know what to name this new show. Alex Jones thought back to a joke he made a few years ago. He would call this new show InfoWars.
Accept the truth, buck the system, and the group collective. Do that, and you'll earn your way to the next level. This is the Info War.
Wow, what another exciting episode of the Alex Jones documentary. Hey, hit that funny little subscribe button. That'd be really cool. Thank you.